Hello Scorpio, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? As I do in all of my readings, I have pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages, as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second. But I still have the tarot deck I'll be pulling from, and then the clarification deck and the advice deck that I'll be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. All right, Scorpio, let's jump on in. In your recent past, you have the moon with changes here. I feel like this is this energy of finding out that something wasn't what you thought it was. Because the moon, to me, can kind of represent, in this context specifically, like illusion or like a projection. And I feel like, you know, the changes that took place, I feel like either the changes led to the awareness that something isn't what you thought it was, or you recognize something wasn't what you thought it was, which led to changes. I'm not quite sure, but I do feel like this has been a very emotional process for you in a lot of ways. Now, in your current energy, you have beginnings with the Eight of Cups in reverse. So this is this energy of feeling really lost, you know, which is going to be natural for anyone going through something like this, especially when you thought something was one way and then it turns out to be another way, or you thought someone was someone that they turn out not to be. You know, it can be hard to trust yourself or to know where to go, or to know even like what the point of it all was. And I feel like that's, you know, right now I feel like you're going through something pretty intentional for like your soul's journey. But you are stepping into a new beginning here. And I feel like this new beginning is very positive. You have the overall theme of the reading is shift. So I do feel like your energy is starting to shift toward that. But you're kind of in the in-between phase of like, you know, an illusion being shattered, things kind of coming crashing down, not really knowing where to go next, which seems to kind of be the theme right now, is this like in-between period of a transformation, or like a life transformation, an inner transformation, a personal transformation. And in your immediate future, you have take the lead with the High Priestess here. And I really like this energy for you, Scorpio, because this is about standing or stepping into your power, but like not just your power in terms of like your power in this world, but like your spiritual power, like aligning with your higher self, making decisions that align more with your higher self than align with fear. And I feel like this, I kind of said that I felt like this situation that you were going through held like a deeper like purpose for your soul. And I feel like that will become clear as you continue to move forward here. But I do feel like things are starting to shift. Maybe you've been in this period of, I mean, the best way that I can kind of explain it is like a period of darkness, you know, definitely feeling maybe a little bit in the dark, or just overall, like I said, a little bit lost, confused, stuck. And I feel like I said, this period's been lasting for a while, but I do feel like it's like a light at the tunnel kind of energy. And maybe you don't quite see it yet, but I feel like you'll start to see it as you continue to move forward. So let's start here, Scorpio. With this past energy, you have changes with the moon. What does Scorpio need to know about this past energy? Okay. Six of Pentacles in reverse, Six of Wands upright. This is this energy of giving a lot to something, but not receiving a whole lot back. So investing in someone or something or a path and wanting it to eventually become what it is that you were looking for. You know, investing in a relationship, hoping for commitment or a higher level of commitment, investing in a career, hoping for further recognition or a raise or something like that. But it just feels like, and you held on to this hope for a while, but it feels like no matter how much you put into it, it just seemed like you never got to that next level, that next phase, that next like stepping stone that you were wanting. And I feel like that kept happening until it became obvious in a way that like it wasn't going to happen, or it became obvious in a way that like it was like, what am I doing this for? Like, this isn't, you know, it doesn't matter. No matter how hard I try, it doesn't, you know, I don't seem it does, like this person doesn't want to commit, or my boss just refuses to see my worth. And it just feels like it was like this clarity that was both relieving and maybe a little bit but also like filled with maybe some sadness, some fear associated with it. Now, it's important for you to know that this isn't a reflection of your value. You know, sometimes when we give a lot to a situation and it doesn't reciprocate, or it doesn't end up being what we thought we wanted it to be, it can feel like it's us, like we're not good enough, or we're not valuable, or we're not deserving, when in reality it might not actually be you, it might be the situation. You know, you're never asking for too much when you're asking to be treated well, to be loved well, to be chosen, to be valued, to be reciprocated. Like, you're never asking for too much. But you might have been asking the wrong person, or you might have been asking the wrong situation, meaning that what you are looking for out of this, you are absolutely deserving of, and have been deserving of, but it feels like you might have been dealing with something that didn't have the ability to reciprocate. And that's maybe what you realized, is like you were like, oh, this isn't capable of being what I want. Like, I thought it was, I saw the potential in it, but it's just not what I thought it was. Okay, what else? And it's a good thing. This realization is a good thing. I feel like it felt not good. And I don't want to take away from that, but I feel like overall it is a good thing. Okay, past energy here for Scorpio. Whew, okay. The World, the Queen of Pentacles, the Lovers, and the Star in reverse. So it's obvious that you were in a cycle here. And I feel like with this Queen of Pentacles energy, it feels like you were kind of like putting your head down and dealing with it. You know, staying very stable through all of it, very grounded, almost like, this doesn't bother me, this is fine, like I can handle this, you know, I can put in the effort, I can put in the work, I can do this. And then it feels like you got to a point where you were like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. But for a really long time, I feel like you did just do it. You like put your head down and you just did it. You just made it happen, or you did what you was expected of you, almost in a way. You did what was expected of you, and what, you know, maybe even were very solid when it came to fulfilling other people's needs, or desires, or the obligations, like I said, that were expected of you. But it feels like over time, like this light in you started to kind of go out. Like with the Star in reverse, it's like this dimming is what I see here. It's like this bright light, you know, that you brought into this situation. It's like it started to dim your light. It started to take away from you and from your passion, or your excitement, or your lovableness. Not that it made you less lovable, but that it made you start to feel less lovable. And you know, this Lovers is interesting because I feel like you're very aware, Scorpio, of what it is that you deserve, okay? I feel like you know what you deserve. However, I feel like you're willing to do whatever it takes to get what you deserve too. But at the same time, I feel like you have a tendency to give other people the benefit of the doubt so much that it's almost like you maybe have a tendency to ignore like your needs in the process of trying to acquire whatever it is that you deserve. And I feel like this situation might have been a reflection of that, which kept you stuck in a cycle of like, you're sitting there and you're going, I know that I deserve more of this, but I'm just going to put my head down. I'm going to put in the work, and I'm going to, show them what I'm worth, and I'm going to make this person value me. And over time, it's like, instead of, to be honest with you, instead of, putting your foot down, it feels like you were just so willing to do whatever it took to make it happen, which is not a bad thing. That means that there is a commitment here, there's a loyalty here, but I feel like that ended up kind of not working out in your favor. And I think that that's what's so hard, right? When you consider yourself like empathetic and loyal and things don't work out for you, is you're like, well, what's the freaking point? Like, why did I spend so much time being a good person in that situation if it didn't work out for me? And, I think that what this is trying to tell you is this not working out for you actually very much did work out for you. It's just, I feel like you'll see that later on. All right, what else does Scorpio need to know here? The Five of Swords. This is very much survival mode kind of energy. Maybe even this energy of, making yourself small to fit into places you didn't belong. Like, almost like maybe there's a part of you that felt like you needed to dim. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was a little bit of both, but it felt like you needed to dim your light, or it felt like you needed to hold back from who you really were, what you're really about, in order to make something work. And I feel like that's why it didn't work out, is because you don't need to dim your light for anyone or anything. You don't need to make yourself smaller for anyone or anything. And I feel like that's kind of what this is teaching you, is like, you have been good enough all along. You've been, and the people that don't see that or value you for what you bring to the table, it doesn't mean that you aren't good enough for those situations. It means that those situations aren't meant for you. But I know that can be hard to see in the process. But I do feel like your life is very much shifting to new heights here, because you do have this beginnings card now. However, with the Eight of Cups in reverse, I do feel like there is this energy of feeling a little bit lost, feeling a little bit hopeless, because I feel like you put so much into something working out, and it didn't end up being what it is that you thought it was. And I feel like that has you really confused about what's good. It's kind of like you put all your eggs in a basket here, and then that basket, I don't even know where that saying comes from, put all your eggs in one basket. You lost the basket or something, so now you got no eggs. I don't know. But if you haven't missed out on an opportunity, you haven't lost your ability to be happy or loved or abundant or any of those things. It might feel like it right now, but you haven't. Okay, what does Scorpio need to know about their current energy? The Star in reverse. Again, with the Four of Cups. I feel like this situation took a lot from you, energy-wise, time-wise, and I feel like right now you're trying to figure out maybe how to get back to yourself, like how to find yourself again, because I do feel like so much of your priority became, what can I do to make this work, or what can I do to make this person see my value, or what can I do to make this be what I want it to be. And now that it didn't, I feel like you're feeling maybe a little bit lost in terms of like what your purpose is, because so much of, like I said, your time and energy went towards something here. And I feel like this is kind of about a period of almost, I don't want to say finding yourself again, but almost like coming back to yourself, like coming back home to yourself in a way. Now your focus right now, I feel like, is, and I feel like this is where you could get yourself into trouble, is maybe you're sitting there going, well, why wasn't I good enough? What could I have done to be good enough? What could I have done? How could I have done more? I should have done this differently, or that. And I feel like what you're needing to understand is that everything played out exactly as it needed to. And that this isn't, again, this isn't about you not being enough or you not having what it takes or being lovable or anything like that. This is about there was some situation that wasn't capable of being what you needed, what you deserved. So it was never you not being good enough for something else. It was something else not being good enough for you in the long run. I don't mean that in the sense that like you're better than this or anything like that, but just that this didn't align with your worth, with your value, which is why you knew the whole time it wasn't in alignment with what you deserved, but yet at the same time you were waiting for it to become what you deserved. So you knew you were deserving of more, and Spirit knew it too, which I feel like is why you you had to move away from it in a way. Okay, current energy for Scorpio. The Three of Swords. That doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. I feel like you're a little bit heartbroken over this. Maybe with the Queen of Wands in reverse, a little bit angry. And that's okay. It's okay to be hurt. It's okay to be angry. And I think that you need to know that you will heal, that things will get better. I think that sometimes when we go through major events like this, it becomes really hard for us to see past the pain that we're experiencing because of that. And it becomes difficult for us to believe that things will ever get better, right? Which is where we start to feel lost and hopeless and stuck. And I feel like this is Spirit's way of promising you that like you will get through this, things will get better, and there is a deeper purpose. And I feel like that deeper purpose isn't just like, oh, it's a lesson to learn and blah, blah, blah. It's like this had to happen so that you could get to where you're trying to go. Like this was, and I'm like looking here at this card, and I just like, it's like how he's walking, and I see, he just kind of walked across this river here, and it's stepping stone. Like I feel like the situation was a stepping stone toward what it is that you deserve and what it is that that is rightfully yours at the end of the day. But right now is a period of healing, and I feel like healing hurts. Healing hurts sometimes. It is a beautiful process, and it's always worth it, but sometimes when you're in the thick of it, it freaking sucks, and it can feel like things are never going to get better, and it can feel like you're never going to be okay again, or you're never going to be yourself again, and I feel like this is Spirit's way of promising you that you absolutely will. It's hard when illusions shatter. Like, there was a period of my life where I poured everything into making a certain path work out. And I mean everything I had. I took a ton of risk in order to make this work. And then it was just over time, it was shown to me through lack of results and lack of, basically just my mental health was struggling. Just a lot of things it became very obvious that this wasn't meant for me. And I didn't know what to do after that. I spent this period of my life actually being very angry at the universe because I was like, well, why would I be led so far down a path that wasn't meant for me? And I learned that I had to go down that path, and there was a lot of growth that came from that. Yes, a lot of knowledge and lessons learned, but I'm now so thankful for that period in my life, because if I hadn't have gone down that path, if I hadn't have been have dealt with kind of that falling apart, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. But that middle ground between where I was and where I am now was horrible. That's why I said I don't want to downplay how you feel. It sucks. It sucks to be in that, in that phase of, man, I really thought, I was on the right track, or I really thought that was going to work, or I really thought that was what was meant for me. I see this a lot with the twin flame journey. People will pour their heart and souls into this connection that they think is their twin flame until one day they realize, this person actually isn't who I'm meant to be with, or I deserve to be treated better than this, or the purpose of this connection is different than what I think. And it can be really scary and overwhelming because you had this idea of how your life was going to go and what it was going to look like and who you were going to live it with. And then when that goes away, you're left with this really scary unknown. And that unknown, though it is scary, is actually a very good thing, because it gives you this clean slate to say, okay, yeah, sure, things didn't work out the way that you expected, but what now? You have an entire world of possibility ahead of you. And I feel like that's what this Take the Lead and High Priestess is about, is you have so much ability to create whatever it is that you wish to create in this life. So I feel like you've been stuck in this for a while, but I feel like I said, light at the end of the tunnel here. What else does Scorpio need to know about their current energy? You're worried about, okay, so King of Pentacles in reverse, focused a little bit too much on your circumstances right now. And I get that. But your circumstances are absolutely temporary. And I think that, we have such a tendency to get caught up in where we're at in each moment and think, oh, this is where I'm going to be for the rest of my life. Things are always going to be like this. I'm always going to struggle like this. I'm always going to hurt like this. I'm never going to be happy. I don't see a way out. I don't see a way to move forward. And that might be the truth for you right now, but that's not going to be the truth for you forever. So don't be blinded by your current circumstances. They are temporary. And at the end of the day, they don't matter as long as I'm not saying they don't matter in the sense that they're not valid, that your feelings about them aren't valid, but in the sense that you have the ability to change them. Things can improve. You have more power than you think here to create better for yourself. And I feel like this is what Spirit is trying to show you through this reading. What does Scorpio need to know moving forward? Take the lead with the High Priestess. Immediate future for Scorpio, please. Three of Wands. Knight of Wands. A whole new journey awaits. A whole new journey awaits. Three of Wands, Knight of Wands, Judgment, and the Page of Pentacles. So, when I pulled these cards, I heard a whole new journey awaits. And I feel like this is the part that is the most important, is you still have so much ahead of you, Scorpio. And I feel like this is really hard for you to believe in or maybe even be excited about. Because I feel like there's this energy of, well, since things didn't work out the way I thought I wanted, then they're never going to be as good as they would have been if they would have worked out that way. And Spirit is trying to tell you that absolutely isn't true. This Knight of Wands is, to me, always kind of been this energy of moving in faith, like leap of faith, putting yourself out there, vulnerability, opening up to possibility. And then this Three of Wands is, stepping outside of your comfort zone. And it really is your choice about whether or not to allow this to be a part of your journey or allowing this to be a destination. Because loss and lack and, not being where you want to be in life is never a destination. It is merely an indication that you're in the middle of a journey. And it's almost as if Spirit is asking you to keep believing in a bigger purpose here and to keep on keeping on when it comes to the journey. I think that I get these comments, it's like, well, my whole life's been hell, or nothing's ever worked out for me, and nothing ever will, and I get that. I get, life can be freaking challenging. But there's also this side of it that I feel like we often miss, which is that the whole purpose of us being on this earth is to heal, to grow, to evolve, for our souls to expand, for our souls to evolve. And when we are willing to look at life from that perspective, which is not easy, okay? It's certainly not easy when you're going through it. But when we're willing to look at life from that perspective, we're willing to become the alchemist of our experience, where instead of saying life sucks and nothing good ever happens, we're willing to say life has sucked at certain points, but I'm taking, these experiences and I'm transmuting them into positive. I'm transmuting them into love or abundance or growth or whatever the case is. And when you take on that perspective, that's where you really take lead of your life. That's where you take charge. That's where you start to learn that there is always a deeper purpose to everything that happens to you. But if you don't see that purpose, or you don't see what happens to you as there being a purpose attached, then it's just going to feel meaningless and barren and pointless, because you're going to think, oh, life just sucks, and then you try and then you get hurt and then you fail, and what's the point in trying, and you can really slip into a pessimistic, negative mindset. Take it from someone who did, okay? I went through a hell of a lot early on in my life, and I became someone who I was so pessimistic. I expected the worst out of every situation, out of every person that I met. It was, oh, everyone is guilty until proven innocent, and, life sucks and then you die. Like, I literally used to say these things out loud, and I used to believe wholeheartedly in them because of the things that I had been through. And I was miserable. Nothing ever worked out. All of the things that I felt and believed were true, and I became a product of my trauma. I became a product of what I had been through. And until I got on a spiritual journey and I started shifting the way that I spoke about my reality, the way I spoke to myself, the way that I approached my life, until I started changing myself within, nothing ever changed. So this is Spirit's way of saying things can change, things can get better, but you cannot allow yourself to become a product of what you've been through. You have to allow yourself to become a product of the faith that you are willing to have, even in the moments where it feels like it's pointless to have any. And that's so hard, but I feel like there is a purpose for everything you're going through. And I especially see that with this High Priestess, like, take the lead card. Like, this is a very spiritual purpose kind of reading. And I feel like the deeper purpose will reveal itself as you continue to move forward on this journey. If you choose to continue to put yourself out there and move forward in faith, which, again, I know isn't hard, or isn't easy. It is very hard. All right, what else does Scorpio need to know moving forward? It feels like, Scorpio, you have a very unique opportunity here. And you have an opportunity to really, so you have the Ace of Wands with the King of Cups. You have the opportunity to kind of to start over. And I don't want that to be negative, because starting over, I went through a period of my life where I felt like I was always starting over. And sometimes it gets really freaking tiring. But, I realized that I kept starting over in the same ways. It was like I kept just trying to repeat and go back to where I used to be. And it wasn't until I was like, okay, obviously that route doesn't work. Spirit never lets that work out. So where can I go from here? I started getting in tune with my deeper desires and my passions and the things that I had always felt called to do, but was too busy doing other things in order to do them. And I started focusing on those things. And it led me to a life beyond my wildest dreams. So sometimes, we think things need to work out a certain way, and we get so caught up on this specific path and things working out exactly like we have planned. And when that plan goes away, we go, well, then, there's nothing left. Like, there's no point. There's nothing good ahead of me. And Spirit is saying it's actually so much the opposite. This Ace of Wands is about reigniting your passion, reigniting your excitement for the possibility that exists in your life, which I know can be hard after long, lengthy periods, even if it's decades of hurt and things not working out. But this is about, believing in the possibility again, so you can experience all that this world does have to offer. So what can Scorpio expect should they choose to do this? It feels like you have this opportunity to rise to the occasion. Your life is shifting. You're leveling up here, but it's going to be your choice about whether or not to let that happen, or to, like I said, allow yourself to kind of become a product of what you've been through. And you are not what has happened to you, Scorpio. You're who you choose to become. There's the Queen of Pentacles, the High Priestess, and the King of Cups. I like this Five of Pentacles in reverse, because this Five of Pentacles in reverse is this energy of, like, you won't feel like you've lost anything. Like, you won't feel like you wish you were somewhere else, or you wish things would have worked out different. I think that that's the coolest thing that I've learned about my life, is being where I'm at now. I'm like, wow, okay, yeah. Everything had to happen exactly how it did to get me here, and I wouldn't change anything for the world. And I really, really, truly mean that. This High Priestess is the second time we're seeing it in your immediate future. This is about aligning with the version of you that believes that you are fully supported by the universe, that you have a spiritual team that is guiding you forward. And Spirit is saying, because I asked what can you expect should you choose to do this, and Spirit is saying with this Five of Pentacles in reverse, like this is this energy of realizing that you are exactly where you should be, exactly where you're supposed to be, realizing that everything has happened for a reason, realizing, and I think that it's hard because this is a general reading, so the deeper purpose for what you're going through is going to be different depending on your journey, but I feel like there is a very spiritual purpose to what you're going through, and Spirit is saying as long as you can move forward in that faith, like it will all make sense one day. Now that is also making sure that your actions, are in alignment, that you're aligning with your higher self, which is ultimately, coming from a place of faith over fear and love over hate, and trying to continue to show up even when it's hard. But I do feel like this is Spirit, and I sometimes when I try to ask too specific questions, I feel like Spirit gives me a very vague answer on purpose, because I'm not a fortune teller. I don't want to be a fortune teller. I don't consider myself a fortune teller. I'm here to help you lean on your own internal guidance to move you forward in the best way possible, because at the end of the day, that is the whole point, learning to deepen that spiritual connection of your own understanding so that you can take your life to new levels. And that's what this is about. You taking your life to new levels and knowing that you are very, very spiritually supported in that as well. All right, we're going to hop on over to the extended. This extended is going to be focused on diving deeper into these messages and bringing forth what you can do right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Thank you so, so much, Scorpio, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Scorpio, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you desire and deserve on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Scorpio.